Florida First. I'm Shirley Min along with Mark Eichman. What's happening in Delaware this summer? We sit down with the state's tourism director to find out what Delaware is doing to give visitors and residents a summer they won't soon forget.
And as the world still celebrates the World Cup victory of France, local soccer players are having a ball with a new twist on the game: bubble soccer.
Plus, keeping young minds engaged during the summer break. Education reporter Chris Barish will be along with that story. And
meet a Delaware artist that takes the mundane and turns it into art with a personal touch of sparkle and spirituality. First, your public media news magazine starts now. It's summertime, so we decided to take the show outside. We're here at the Wilmington Riverfront.
Specifically, the Constitution Yards Beer Garden along the Christina River Walk. If you're looking to get out and relax, grab a bite to eat or drink while your kids play nearby, then this is the place to be.
And the beer garden is one of more than a dozen stops on Delaware's Wine and Ale Trail. And the trail is not the only way to explore the state. We sat down with Tourism Director Liz Keller to talk about some of the other ways you can explore Delaware. The summer travel season is in full swing and Delaware's beaches are full to capacity, and that's good news for Liz Keller. She's director of Delaware's tourism office. Liz, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
So talk about tourism in Delaware. Obviously, this is the prime time for Delaware, and I know that the shoulder seasons have been growing, especially for the beaches, but prime time summer season for visitors to Delaware. It's busy.
It's busy and we love it. And tourism is big for the state, the industry. It's a $3.3 billion impact to the state's GDP. We welcome 9 million visitors every year, and we're the fourth largest employer in the state. So over 40,000 of our neighbors are employed in this industry. And what's exciting is kind of what you said earlier, is that, yeah, the summer season's a great time to visit Delaware, but so is the shoulder season, and even the winter months at the beach are seeing increase in visitation.
I think it really would surprise a lot of people to hear those numbers, over $3 billion contributed by tourism, and that's in hotel stays and restaurants and just the whole gamut of tourism supporting businesses?
Yeah, our travelers partake in a lot of different activities when they come to the state. So it's not only the overnight visitation, it's dining, it's tax-free shopping, it's the outdoor activities and visiting our breweries, wineries, and of course museums and art galleries.
And I guess the challenge is to how to increase that every year, and I guess to grow tourism industry and its impact on the state, and I guess that's kind of that's your job, right?
That's what we're here for, and what we really do is we look at the data and we talk to our consumers. So we go to national trade shows and we talk to them one-on-one. What are you interested in, and how can we get you to come to Delaware? And with that information, it drives our marketing campaigns and the decisions we make at the State Tourism Office.
And one of the ways the state is trying to draw more visitors and I guess extend visits is through the Delaware on Tap. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Delaware on Tap is the mobile version of the Beer, Wine, and Spirits Trail. We started Beer, Wine, and Spirits Trail about 8 or 9 years ago. It was just a handful of locations, and now we're up to over 30 locations in the state. And it's breweries, wineries, distilleries, cideries, and meaderies. I mean, it's everything you could think of. So what a traveler does is they download the app, and they pick, do you like Malbec wine? Do you like an IPA beer? And then it tells you what type of locations you should go visit. Once they visit 10 locations, we send them a commemorative beer mug for just visiting our great locations in the state.
And what's been the response to that?
Well, the paper passport that we used to do had thousands of downloads, and with the mobile application, it's actually being downloaded 4 times faster than the paper passport. People love their beer, wine, and spirits.
It's amazing how that sector has really exploded. I guess nationally too, but in Delaware as well.
It has. It's large in Delaware, and it creates this creative entrepreneur spirit. So it's not only the locations, but now there's also businesses growing off of that. You have a lot of tour businesses opening with transportation offerings, and a lot of new events as well.
And the higher tech doing it through the app is part of new technology as you're using as well. And earlier this year we saw a way to see Delaware using technology in a way that I guess we really hadn't seen before through virtual reality. Talk to us a little bit about how that's rolled out and what the response to that has been.
Some of the questions we're getting when we're going to the trade show is, are you sure that's in Delaware? You know, that mansion, is that really in Delaware? And we wanted to be able to answer yes. And by the way, if you put on this headset, you can experience just a taste of what you could experience if you come to Delaware. And that's really what it is. It's just to pique interest on the discoveries that we have here. When we launched it in May, we actually experienced a 20% increase to our website because of such a strong interest in the technology.
And so I guess looking forward, what's kind of next in Delaware tourism? The Wine and Ale Trail was sort of the 10 years ago and has grown now. What's the growth for the future?
Well, we're letting the consumers guide us in where we want to go, and we're wanting to meet them where they make their decisions. So increasing our presence in online media, TripAdvisor, Google, those are all top priorities for this year.
Is there a misconception when it comes to Delaware? Like you said, people don't believe that, you know, say Nemours Mansion, the way it looks, matches with their perception of what they see as that's being Delaware or the beaches or what have you. Do you have to fight that kind of misperception? Is that part of the job too?
We love fighting that misconception. And that's the whole point of our campaign of Endless Discoveries, which we came up with a couple of years ago. And when we did the branding study, to sit and listen to consumers saying, oh, there's nothing to do here, or that we kind of have a bland personality, that's a task we love taking on and telling people we have discoveries to have. You can be at the mansions, you can be in the countryside, you can be at the beach. Trap Pond State Park was something that really impacted people when they saw photos. So you'll see in our ads, a lot of the photos that they saw that they didn't think were in Delaware are the photos that we like to show and showcase our discoveries.
All right, thanks so much for your time. Liz Keller, she is the Director of Delaware's Tourism Office. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The Tourism Office has lots of information listed on their website of places to go, things to do, and maybe most importantly, where to eat, right? So their website is definitely worth checking out, especially this summer.
What have you and the family been up to? Because you're always out and about.
Sure, yeah, a couple weeks ago we had a chance to go to Fort Delaware, took the ferry over there and got to learn a little bit about the history of, you know, the Confederate soldiers that were held there during the Civil War. Even better than that, though, in the history, we got to see the big cannon fired off,
cool.
yeah, which was a big hit with the little guys and the bigger guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we recently caught a Blue Rocks game. It was hot, but we all still had a really good time. It also didn't hurt that it was Dollar Italian Sausage Night.
Nice.
So
Yes.
Lots of fun family activities here in the state of Delaware. Nichelle Polston joins us now with a fun activity that puts a spin on a popular sport. Nichelle, tell me about what is this bubble soccer?
So Shirley, if you've ever played soccer, you know it takes agility to get the ball past the players, past the goalie, and into the goal, post net for the score. So imagine doing that enclosed in a giant plastic bubble. Yes, not an easy feat, but in bubble soccer, the goal is to have fun. It's a hot day in July, and instead of peeling off the layers, Tanisha Lomax is putting on a plastic bubble suit. Eric, her husband, is doing the same thing right beside her. Usually during the summer months, you pretty much think about the beach, picnics, camping, every outdoor activity. But what about bubble soccer? Get ready, guys. This outdoor game is something unique to Delaware and the company Bump and Play. And so I decided to give it a try. But first, we had to go over a few safety rules by owner Pedro Moore.
When playing, make sure you're always in a ready stance.
Okay, now that that's over, it's my turn to try on these 15-pound suits. It didn't take much to get used to the added weight either. This is team couples. The Postons against, what's your last name? Lomax. Okay, the Postons against the Lomaxes. It's slightly similar to traditional soccer, but with a twist, thanks to the bulky suits. However, we managed to play a 5-minute game, which turned out to be more of a workout between the two couples.
Yeah, you were pretty much working on everything. Probably by the next day, you'll know exactly what you worked out, because that's the part that's going to be sore. So it's gonna be your legs, you're gonna get some good cardio in, even your shoulders and all that, you're gonna have a full body workout.
In the end, the game was a hit among everyone who participated, including my partner, who's also my husband.
I had a great time. My knees held up, which is a good thing. So I like to stay active. It was fun, and watching a lot of World Cup helped me out in this game of soccer because I don't play soccer at all, but it was fun.
The good news, bubble soccer doesn't go away when summer ends. It can also be played indoors at various sporting venues. In fact, that's what initially caught the owner's attention.
I saw a video go viral, and it was done overseas, and I'm a big kid myself, so I love doing anything that's fun.
And it's definitely fun, especially during the center rush. There's no goalie, but the goal is to score points. It sounds easy, and it certainly looks easy until you decide to try it.
For the most part, this is safe. Your body's fully immersed inside the bubble. The only thing that's out is your legs, so that way, of course, you can kick the ball.
Of course, kick the ball, that's if you can find it, because this game definitely lived up to the company's name, Bump and Play.
This is great for a couple different folks. Of course, birthday parties, young adults if they want to have like a evening event with their friends, corporations for team building activities, churches for their youth department. So really just anyone that wants to like just have fun, get a good workout, and kind of build a bond with their friends and family.
Another neat thing about bubble soccer is the company Bump and Play can bring the game to you. That means my friends in Philly and New Jersey can join in on the fun as well.
And you look like you were having a lot of fun too.
A little too much fun.
So tell me, what else have you been doing this summer?
So Shirley, over the past few months, I've been working on projects near and dear to my heart, from public policy, health, reproductive justice for women. I still have my hands in the field of television and journalism, a little bit of traveling, and I'm just doing my best to make sure underserved communities are much better these days.
There's a lot on your plate.
Too much.
All right, well, it's really good to see you.
Same here.
Avoiding the summer slump. See what one camp is doing to make sure students don't fall behind during summer vacation. Plus using beads and taxidermy to make art with emotion, sparkle, and even a sense of humor. Later on First Experience.
Summertime is a time when kids want to hit the pool, go to the beach, play outside, or relax indoors, not do reading, writing, and arithmetic. But Delaware education reporter Chris Barish visited an innovative camp this month that tackles that conventional wisdom. Hey, Chris.
Hi, Shirley. Newcastle County recently opened a beautiful library on the low-income Route 9 corridor near Newcastle. And now, armed with a lucrative federal grant, they're using that new building in partnership with a nearby charter school and the YMCA of Delaware.
Inhale. Exhale.
This is very new to me. Like, I've never been to like a camp that learns first and then plays first, because like at my old camp, I would usually just play around the whole day.
Jameer Napier was apprehensive this summer. The youngster, who will be a 7th grader at Charter School of Newcastle, wasn't too excited with the quote-unquote curriculum, at least the morning session. He'd begin his day at the sparkling new library on Route 9 near Newcastle. He would sit in math and English class. Then he'd move on to mandatory electives, arts and crafts, video production, yoga.
All right, so this pose, I was going to challenge your balance.
Not exactly dodgeball and swimming, but definitely a way to stem the summer brain drain too many kids experience over the summer.
Summer slide is a huge issue that we run into with our students. So our hopes is that if our students are here and they're reading and they are writing and they're doing their math, that they will retain a lot of that information and come back in just as strong as they left us in June.
Nicole Lerner, who teaches math at Newcastle Charter, is a point person in a new partnership between her school, the YMCA of Delaware, and Newcastle County. It's a dual camp that's free of charge for 150 K-8 students at her school. Funded with a $2 million federal grant the county won for 5 years, the fledgling initiative aims to marry education with recreation. That's because after the morning at the library, the kids get bused to either the Bear Glasgow YMCA or the Western YMCA near Newark.
Oh, we have all types of activities. They swim, they have literacy, we have team building activities, we have archery, we have healthy living. There's so many different things that they can do. We have thousands of equipment, sports, anything that they are interested in, we're able to provide here. We sing, we dance, we celebrate, we all come together. It's an amazing feeling.
The camp also aims to help lower-income students like those at Charter of Newcastle. 54% of the school's 750 kids are poor. Consequently, the school suffers from the well-documented achievement gap between low-income kids and those of means. Just 35% of students are proficient in math, and 41% up to state standards in English. Those scores are both at least 10 percentage points below the state average.
The purpose of this program is to offer our students something to do over the summer that would kind of both challenge their mind and their body. We are looking at just really raising the bar for our students' education.
For Jameer, it's a smorgasbord of learning and letting loose. On the day WHYY visited the library in late June, Jameer did his academics, then sat through a video presentation about drug abuse and practiced yoga.
1, 2.
Then it was off to the Western Y, where Jameer did get to play dodgeball and cooled off at the pool. The youngster now realizes the extra academic time is worthwhile. It could help him with his studies.
I would like this better, because my mom said they don't want your brain to like not function, because they're going to go over things that you need to learn. Before I didn't understand it, but like now it's like click for me.
Armani Evans, who is also entering 7th grade, does well in school, but she finds the new camp enriching as well.
It's a fun thing that anyone could probably enjoy, no matter what the age you are, and then it gives you a new experience of, instead of having to sit home and not have anything to do.
And it's not just fun and games at the Y. Kids are also learning important life lessons. On the day we visited, one counselor held a session on nutrition and the fact that sodas are loaded with sugar.
All right, raise your hand. Which one had the third most amount of sugar in it, Sean?
And then she showed them how to make a sweet, tasty, and refreshing drink without any sugar. Instead, she used seltzer and strawberries.
Who thinks this is going to taste good?
Yeah. For Dave Miller, the Western Y camp coordinator and a school behavior interventionist the rest of the year, it's this combination that makes the experience so rewarding. Children get a fun-filled summer break while their minds get needed nourishment.
Some people think that kids should stay in school all year round. I personally don't agree with that. I think they need that summer to, kind of get out there and do their own thing and develop their own social skills and different things like that. I think that's important too, just to keep their brains rolling,
Look.
Chris, that drink looks so good. I think I'm going to have to teach that one of my kids.
Well, it was one seriously delicious beverage, and the kids really liked it too.
On a more serious note, though, a lot of parents don't necessarily support formal education over the summer, but the kids in your story seem to be having a fun time.
Well, Jameer was really adamant that he did not want to spend even part of his mornings in the middle of July in math or English class. But, he adapted really easily, and he got to do yoga, he played dodgeball, he cooled off in the pool later, so he had a great time.
Yeah, authorities trying to continue to close that achievement gap. Thank you so much, Chris. For more of Chris's work, you can go online, check it out at WHYY.org/news.
Just a few miles from here in Wilmington sits a natural oasis nestled among the hustle and bustle of Newcastle County development. At more than 3,000 acres, White Clay Creek State Park welcomes more than 200,000 visitors every year. But what is the future of northern Delaware's biggest state park? Just a short distance from the University of Delaware, White Clay Creek State Park offers a quiet place for both recreation and reflection. Some 30 miles of trails crisscross along the park's rolling hills and through lush forests.
These are blackberries, but you've got about a week between when they ripen and when they fall off and or the birds get them and take them away.
It's also a popular spot for anglers hoping to catch some of the thousands of trout and other fish that the state stocks in the park's waters. As Delaware considers future uses and improvements to the park, there's one state leader that's very familiar with White Clay. That's DNREC Secretary Sean Garvin.
This was my first park. This is the park I literally grew up in. I mean, my house is stone's throw away from White Clay Creek Park, the pool that I used to swim at when I was younger. We used to load on our bikes and spend a lot of time riding in and around here.
As part of the master plan process, Garvin is gathering public comments on how the park is used and how those users think investments should be made in the future.
The focus and goal is for us to have a roadmap on how we proceed, for folks to understand, so that as your various interests, you can see where your piece falls into this, or why an investment is being placed one place versus the other.
For David Coppicer, president of the Friends of the White Clay Creek State Park, one priority should be maintaining historic structures in the park.
Especially the historical buildings, having sufficient funding or some arrangement to continue to preserve those, to upgrade them so that they can be lived in or used in an active way.
The park plays a significant role in Delaware's history, or more accurately, in Delaware geography. One of the dozens of trails that meander through the park leads to the Ark Corner Monument, the place where the round northern border of the state meets the Pennsylvania state line. The Ark Corner was marked by surveyors Mason and Dixon, who lent their name to the borderline that became the unofficial dividing line separating northern and southern states and marking the northern limit of slavery in the U.S. But much of this history was almost sunk, along with much of the park land, in the 1960s when plans were in the works for a massive reservoir.
There was a move to put a very large reservoir. So there were people in the community who fought that, who got public support and politician support, and eventually that dam project was deferred, and as a result a lot of land for recreation use in trails and cycling and so on was preserved.
Continuing to preserve that use in the right way can have big economic impacts for the state.
$1 in general funds into our parks brings back $40 in the economy of the state of Delaware, which is more than double any of our surrounding states. And if you look at a 50-mile radius, some $400 million comes into our state. So, I mean, it is a valuable part of our economy, but it's also very critically important to Delawareans and providing these opportunities.
It's something that we will, I think, in future generations treasure, having this amount of land preserved for a variety of uses.
More public hearings are scheduled for August 1st and August 20th. Those meetings will focus on the future of roads and trails at the park, as well as recreation like fishing and golf. You can find more details on those hearings, as well as the complete master plan at destateparks.com.
For Nancy Josephson, turning something mundane into something personal is the goal of her artwork. Using beads, taxidermy, and busts of people as the backdrop, Nancy imbues her work with emotion, sparkle, sometimes even a sense of humor or spirituality. She does all of this from her Wilmington studio, and that's where we caught up with her for this week's First Experience.
I'm very interested in using humor and blingy stuff to work with ideas that are maybe a little dark. I do cremation urns. I did my own cremation urn that says on the back of it in Scrabble letters, "Does this make my ashes look big?" You know, you gotta go with it. My real solid work as an extension of that is the work that I've done in Haiti, which I've been going to Haiti for over 20 years. I was introduced to a number of people who do this particular kind of work called drapeau vaudou. They're flags, voodoo flags, that are used in ceremony. But at a certain point it became an art form with sequins and beads and narratives, and they're just gorgeous, and I fell in love with them, and that kind of drew me into the spirituality as well. So a lot of my work is really about celebrating that connection and the work that I do down there. There are two different paths, basically. One is almost like a sorbet. All of the things that are more related to the animals, the taxidermy, they're just beautiful and weird little funky, kind of fun. For instance, I have these bird salt and pepper shakers. They're really beautiful. They're like Fabergé egg type of thing. The really intense pieces are these things that I called spirit heads, and they are busts that have this spiritual component to it, and they're usually very intensely layered. It's really about celebrating a particular spirit that's talking to me at the time. We have a conversation. Sometimes I kind of fight back or bite back, and then they win. There's a communication that happens between the viewer and the piece. It's a personal connection that they're getting, and it's speaking to them. It's either joy and sort of a surprise and delight. It's all about my choice to appreciate being where I am at any given time. It's not a straight shot of, oh, I have bliss. It's like, to me, that's a little sort of a flat thing. It's like everything. It's everything. It's joy and sorrow and the full array. I've got this, I've got my family, I've got my health, I've got my family's health. It's like, at the end of the day, we have food on the table and we're happy being together.
Visual art wasn't always Nancy's first love. She was also a musician and toured with Arlo Guthrie as a backup singer. She told us her son even learned how to walk on the tour bus. She also had her own band, Angel Band, and toured as part of her husband, David Bromberg's band, The Big Band. You can find more on Nancy, her art, and her upcoming shows at nancyjosephson.com.
And that is it for First this week. Thank you so much for watching. We do want to let you know we are taking some time off for a little, as we say in the business, retooling of the format.
And we'll be back with a new show with a familiar host, Shirley Min, that takes a look at stories in Delaware and around the region.
And Mark and our team will continue to produce Delaware television specials. But do keep an eye out for events, community events that are exploring issues that are important to the state of Delaware. That will continue on. Meantime, we do want to thank everyone here at Constitution Yards for making us feel at home here.
And of course, we want to thank our crew and everyone who works behind the scenes every week to make this show possible. And remember, you can find Delaware News at 90.9 WHYY FM and online at whyy.org/news. So for Chris Barish, Nichelle Polston, and Shirley Min, I'm Mark Eichman. Have a great week.